somebody wrote with a question, but before I get to the question, I want to share with you. Saturday night, somehow, when I had been reading the news, it said that there was going to be some big thing called, I think it was One World. Anyway, what it was on most of the major networks, they had all these famous people, mostly performers, singers and these people, doing like a benefit concert online from their own homes to raise money for the coronavirus epidemic, pandemic, in order to get supplies and medical services and things like this. So it was amazing to me. I don't like the music very much. So I kept forwarding it, because they had a lot of stuff talking about the virus and the different groups, homeless people helping homeless people, helping students, helping the youth. They had people from different African nations and all over the world talking about their different relief efforts. And so they were raising money for all of this. And so they went from kind of one performer to the other. I have no idea how long it lasted because I didn't stay for a long time. But, they had Paul McCartney. He doesn't look like he used to look. Yeah, he looked much better at age 18. But, yeah, Elton John, all these really famous people who usually you look at them and you can tell they're trying to make themselves look good and look famous and gather a lot of attention. But here, they were performing from their homes, and they were just ordinary people, and they were speaking before they did their song or whatever it was, talking about the kindness of all the healthcare workers and the need in the world for different people. And it was just completely blowing my mind because here's these same people, and you saw a totally different side of them and how they were all coming together, not caring who had, more concerts or how much money they made for the latest record, but they were all coming together for a really positive purpose. And it was so inspiring to see that, And then also last night, Venerable Damcha shared with me about some of the migrant workers from South India and Bangladesh and so on that work in Singapore. And they come over, they have hardly, no legal status. They can't marry, they can't apply for citizenship. They're legal migrants, but they don't have legal status as citizens of Singapore. And so they, when the virus broke out, they were being confined to these dormitories, and people in Singapore generally don't like any of the dormitories for migrant people to be in their neighborhood. They want them somewhere else. And so a lot of people started getting sick, and the government stepped in, moved these people into vacant flats, and started providing them 3 meals a day. And the most surprising thing to me was they had a place in the buildings where nearby neighbors who usually shun these workers could write and say thank you. And just reading some of what they said was so touching. I mean, just acknowledging that these people left their families, to go to Singapore and then engage in constructing these buildings, which is not an easy thing. It's a high-risk job, low-pay job, yeah. But the Singaporeans are writing and thanking them. Yeah. And it was beautiful to see that. I mean, kind of what the virus, some good is coming out of this in terms of people reaching out to each other. Okay. Now, here's somebody writing in. And so this was after the talk on our rules of the universe. So they say one of their rules of the universe is life shouldn't be similar to a horror movie. Yeah. And if it is, just be angry, doubt everything, including Buddhism, complain and be angry again, especially when you feel there is nothing you can do about it. Yeah, it's a great rule of the universe, huh? Makes you really happy. Yeah. Okay. So maybe I am angry at myself for not being able to do much about it. We all do what we can. If we can't do as much as we would like, why be angry at ourselves? Yeah, we do what we're able to, and then at least stay connected on an emotional level. We don't tune out these people and say, well, I can't help them in any way. They're an amorphous mass, so I don't really care. And use that as a rationale for our inability to do things, But when, you have your own personal impediments, maybe they're health things or financial things or whatever it is, at least in our practice, meditate on love and compassion, do the taking and giving meditation, make prayers and aspirations and dedicate merit for all these people, because at least on that level we're connected, and I think prayers and dedication can make an impact on things. I don't have lots of friends to organize a campaign or something like you kindly suggested or I heard or read about on social media. I don't have skills, I'm not healthy enough, and I don't have the knowledge to help in the places that help is needed. Okay. So she's listed all of this, and then, no wonder she feels depressed. Okay. So she continues, I don't want to close my eyes to what is happening right now in the world, and particularly in my country. But if I open them and the reality is too overwhelming, what do I do? Okay. I do meditate, learn, and listen to Dharma, recite mantras, and all of that, but is it enough? I can have some peace, but it doesn't feel like the answer is just to wait eons for me to become enlightened, while in the meantime there's a lot of suffering. Or do I need to put even more effort in the practice so I can help others sooner? Yes. Yeah, that's the whole thing, is when we generate love and compassion and we look around the world, then we use the suffering that we see to increase our practice, to motivate us, so that instead of watching TV, we get on the, meditation cushion, or so that instead of, drinking and drugging to numb our pain, we follow the 5 precepts. Okay. So instead of taking the suffering we see in the world and getting depressed about it, know that there's something we can do. We may not be able to do that in the next 5 minutes or the next 5 days or the next 5 months or the next 5 years, yeah, due to whatever situation we're in right now, but at least we can, really practice and try and progress on the path to become Buddhahood, to become a Buddha, because as a Buddha, we'll be able to offer more help than we could, you know, going on the front lines now in hospitals and in food banks and so on. So doing the work in, you know, that helps people this life is well and good. Yeah. But if we can really increase our capacities so we could become a Buddha and emanate many bodies, then we could really help people a lot. And also, as a Buddha, and even before that, if we can share the Dharma with other people, and especially to teach them about karma and its results, then we can help people stop creating the causes to experience suffering results. And that's where Dharma really helps, like I was talking the other day, is on the causal thing. So when we can teach people about karma, it really, you know, it stops pandemics from happening. Okay. And then if they do, of course, you can manifest many bodies to help people, but only if they have the karma to receive that help. Yeah. So it's, you know, we always want to, we feel things like intensely and we want to do something immediately and completely change the situation. You know, we still believe in magic, don't we? We're still waiting for, you know, what was it with the pumpkin, you know, not to some, you know, Prince Charming is going to show up and then, what is it? Cinderella. We still believe in magic, you know, that something is going to come at the last minute and whammo, you know, clear all the suffering, you know. And so sometimes we have that same expectation of ourselves, like I should suddenly have all these skills that are needed to stop the pandemic and go to work and then it's going to cease, you know. But nobody has all that skills. You know, it needs a whole group effort. It needs many people's skills, many people's efforts. Okay? So we shouldn't expect, you know, ourselves to work miracles or anybody to work miracles for that part. Okay? So, you know, we may not be a Buddha, we may not be a Bodhisattva even, but we do what we can and we stay connected in our meditation practice and especially making dedication for the people. And then, you know, being able, really praying to be able to teach people the Dharma, especially about karma and its effects. Yeah. So you really see, you know, when Lama Atisha, the great Indian sage who was abbot of Nalanda, when he went to India, and when he went to Tibet, what did he teach? Mostly refuge and karma. You know, he was a highly realized Pandita, yeah, who had mastered all the philosophical texts. What did he teach in Tibet? Refuge and karma, because that's what the people needed at the beginning. And by practicing that, then you stop creating the causes for suffering. So let's all do what we can and do it with a happy mind. Yeah? And a spiritual long-term motivation. And rejoice at what everybody else is doing, even if we can't do it.